Guys, welcome to another edition of the Mixtape Podcast, the podcast dedicated to discussing film from a screenplay writer's perspective. I'm your host for this week. My name is Marcelo Inestroza, joined as always by my fellow co-host, Dean Stark. And on today's program, we'll be talking about the 1995 film Mortal Kombat, directed by Paul W.S. Anderson. So, as we do every week, I will kick it over to Dean to take us through this film step by step.
Watching this movie again after years, oh my fucking God. Like, it brought back so much nostalgia. I can't remember if I saw it in the cinema, but I definitely saw it when it was released on VHS. And it blew my fucking mind. I'd never seen anything like it before. The techno music, like all the martial arts and just like the fantasy aspect. And I was like, I think I rented it so many times. I was obsessed. I bought the soundtrack, which I wish I still had, but I feel like I lent it to someone and I never got it back. So whoever has my Mortal Kombat CD, like, fuck you. Why did you? That was my favorite CD. I used to listen to it on my boombox all the time. But like Marcelo said, 1995, Mortal Kombat, directed by Paul W.S. Anderson, written by Kevin Droney. Sorry, I don't know how to say your last name. Not that he's listening anyway. The opening scene is, well, it's not really an opening scene, but I'm going to mention it. But it's just the credits. And it's just the kick-ass techno Mortal Kombat song. Like, boom, in your face. It's like right when it starts. It's like, din, 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 din. And I'm like, oh my God, nostalgia. Like, imagine the first time you're seeing this techno song starts blasting you in the face, these credits, and then you see like the dragon thing and it's got Mortal Kombat. Oh my God. Like, I just want to talk about that for like a minute because that was just like in your face, like, this is the movie, this is the tone of the movie, and it was just in your face. So I mean, I loved it. And I don't like credit scenes, but I liked this one.
Yeah, no, Dean is 100% right. This movie wastes no time. This movie tells you exactly what it is when it goes right into the opening credits. It smacks you in the face with the big Mortal Kombat, and then it goes. It's just awesome.
Yeah,
the flaming, the design of the credits, the fire. Dean said the techno music, everything about this opening sequence tells you exactly the tone of the film that you're about to watch. It is fucking 90s nostalgia tease, 90s memories to the max, and I fucking love it.
Yeah, anyway, I love that scene. So the opening scene, we have Shang Tsung and Chang Kang. Try saying that 5 times fast. They're fighting. We don't know who they are. We don't know what's going on yet. And the older one, Shang Tsung, is obviously a much better fighter. He's older. Chan is very young, and Shang Tsung is clearly the better fighter. And he gets him in like a chokehold and then holds him up by his hair. And then he looks at the camera and he points and he says, "Your brother's soul is mine." And I'm like, again, imagine watching this when you're like 12 years old going, "Oh my God,
yeah,
what is this?" And then the next, I don't know, I'm jamming it into one scene. We see Liu Kang, who's got literally the best hair of any man I've ever seen in my life. Okay, his hair is amazing. So he wakes up from like a sweat. That's a dream he's been having. He gets up in the middle of the night and he looks at a telegram that he's gotten from his grandfather that says, "Liu Kang, brother dead, return home, grandfather." So that's the opening, which I thought was kick-ass because it's Mortal Kombat. Of course, it has to start on a fight. Of course,
the opening to this film sets the stage for the driving force of our main character. Oh, what is his name?
Which one?
The older brother, the one with the perfect hair.
Let's just call him Perfect Hair Guy. No, Liu Kang.
Liu Kang, yeah. The first scene of this movie really sets Liu. I'll call him Liu.
Yeah. See that?
On his hold on, just breathe, take it easy. The first scene of this film sets up the character's main driving force for the rest of the movie in such an efficient way, because they do it in a dream sequence. They show you how powerful the big bad of this movie is going to be. They show you how kick-ass he is, and he also has a really great line before he kills the main character's, younger brother. He goes, your soul is mine. That is a bad guy line to the max. It is just so fucking mysterious, so evil, and so badass. I fucking love it. And with the main character Luke getting up from the bed after he has the nightmare, also I love the lighting that they have his bedroom in. It's kind of like
Green.
this. It looks really great. I think he's meant to be like in Hong Kong or something like that.
Well, he's not in Hong Kong yet. He's in America. I think the green signifies good guy. I think that's what Paul was going for.
That's a really good point that I didn't consider. See, guys, Dean does bring something to this show. Proof right there.
I just thought of that, guys. So I didn't think of that while I was taking my notes or anything.
Yeah, genius. Genius. But I really like how this movie's set up, because the screenplay writer gives you exactly what you need right away. He wastes no time, and he just says, okay, here we go. And I love that.
The actor that plays Shang Tsung plays another bad guy in another movie that we both love, The Phantom. He plays the great Kabai Sang. So this actor...
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Freaking awesome. This actor is freaking awesome. So he just plays great bad guys. What can I say?
Yeah. He's like seriously, I think he's made a career
out of playing bad guys.
Playing like evil, mysterious, much trashing villains. I can't even say it right.
Yeah.
Villains.
Yeah. So the next scene, we meet Sonya Blade, which is played by Bridget Wilson. And she's in a SWAT uniform, and she's busted into a nightclub, and looks like she's got a fucking shotgun, and she's looking for Kano. Where's Kano? The music's the music's blaring. There's fucking hundreds of people. She's like, where is he? Where is he? And then we get to Kano, who's at the nightclub, but he's standing in the balcony, and he turns around, and Shang Tsung is sitting there. And he asks Shang Tsung, do you think she's going to follow me? And Shang Tsung says, you killed her partner. She'll follow you anywhere. I need her at the tournament. And that's that scene. But the scene is short. So what Paul is he's trying to introduce the main characters very, very quickly, because we have to get into the movie. So what we know about Sonya, she's in a SWAT uniform. She's tough. She could be a cop. She could be Secret Service. We don't know. We don't know who she works for, but we know she's tough. She can handle herself. Then we meet Kano. We know he's a dick because he acts like a dick. He looks like a dick. He's supposed to be Australian, which kind of works because some of us are dicks. So I was like, yay. We know Kano is working for Shang Tsung, and we know why Sonya Blade wants to kill Kano is because Kano killed her partner. And we know there's a tournament. So we know all that in literally 3 minutes. And I loved it. Yeah.
Again, I said it when we were talking about the opening to this film. The screenplay writer does a very good job at setting the table as fast as he can, and as efficient as he can, because he wastes no time. First by introducing Liu, now by introducing Sonya, by introducing her motivation, by giving us a couple character traits, like Dean said. I really like how efficient the screenplay writing has been in this film so far, because everything so far has been all necessary, no wasted motion. Everything has been tight and compact and leading to somewhere. Also, I really, really, really loved the fact that they introduced Sonya walking through a club and you hear doof doof music. Yeah. I was like, doof doof music. Dean has to do it, but she didn't do it. So
no, but see, that's doof doof music. That is doof doof music.
Yeah. Yeah, doof doof music. Yes. She did it.
Yes, that's it. That's
no, but also, but again, I love how tight this film is so far, and that we're getting introduced to our main characters so quickly.
Yeah, so the next character we get introduced to is Johnny Cage. And you see him walk into a building, and he's suave. He's got a suit on. He's got sunglasses on, and he just beats up all these guys, and you're like, oh, what's happening here? And then you hear cut, and you're like, oh, he's an actor. And he's up himself. He fucking loves himself. He thinks he's the best thing since fucking sliced bread. But he sees someone he knows, and he approaches them on the set. And they are telling him about a tournament that he should enter because he's one of the best martial artists in the world. So there you go. He's an actor, but he's not a fake actor. He's one of they've just said it. He's the best. He's one of the best martial artists in the world. It's like, okay. So tell him about a tournament, and he knows that Johnny Cage can't resist because Johnny Cage is in love with Johnny Cage. And he knows if there's a chance to prove himself that he'll fucking do it. And as this man is walking away, he transforms, he turns into Shang Tsung. And so that right there shows you that Shang Tsung is very powerful. The fact that he can shapeshift into whoever he wants, which is funny because he only does that one other time in the movie. And you would think if you're a shapeshifter and you can do that, you would be doing that like a lot more to get one up on your enemies. But that's neither here or there. That's just me nitpicking. But it showed how powerful he actually was. So that was the introduction of Johnny Cage.
No, but just real quickly on Shang Tsung for a moment, he's a sorcerer. So it's like, if you're a sorcerer, dude, use that shit. But you're right, he doesn't really use it, except for one other time in this movie that we'll get to eventually. But that's a really, really good observation by you, that he really doesn't use his powers that he has, and that he's accumulated. And that he's accumulated throughout his lifetime.
Yeah.
But I really love the introduction of
Johnny
Cage. Thank you, God. Thank you so much, Johnny Cage, because I really love that. I really love the way that Paul does it, because it's just him basically walking towards some guys. He beats the shit out of some guys, and then you hear a cut. And then also, I really love that he argues with the director guy that looks a lot like Steven Spielberg. And I just got a kick out of that.
That was actually supposed to be Steven Spielberg, but Steven couldn't do it due to scheduling conflicts. But so they got someone that looked like him.
Yeah. And the thing about it was that Steven really wanted to do it, but he just couldn't make it work. I love that after he yelled cut, he argued with the director, and he had a hissy fit, because like Dean said, that showed you immediately that Johnny is all about Johnny, right? And it showed you immediately that he's self-centered. And also, when he walked up to the guy that he thought was his friend, he was reading a newspaper that was in Chinese. And the newspaper was accusing him of being a fake martial artist. So that also tells you that Johnny Cage has a chip on his shoulder that he wants to get off. So that gives you two slight motivations. It tells you that he's uppity about himself, that he thinks he's the best, but it also tells you that he has something to prove as a character. So that gives you two character traits that will go throughout the course of this movie as we move forward. Out of all the introductions, I think his introduction was my favorite, just because of what it was framed around. I think that was my favorite introduction.
Yeah. So now we're at the Temple of Light, China, and I love the shot that Paul uses, because he has a shot of Liu Kang coming in on like this little boat, and the little boat docks, and you just see his feet and just the lower half of his body, and then you pan up, and he pans up and pulls back, and there's this massive temple with all these monks in red surrounding it, and it's just such a beautiful, and he hangs there, because normally directors will have the shot, okay, got the shot. No, he hangs there for a good 10 seconds, 20 seconds, until Liu Kang makes his way like up the stairs. And I love that shot. So he makes his way up, there's monks everywhere, and he sees his grandfather. His grandfather's a monk. And he tells him about the tournament. And the grandfather knows that this tournament has something supernatural about it. There's something, it's not just a regular martial arts tournament. But Liu Kang keeps saying, oh my God, why do you think this tournament is just like something that it's not? It's just a martial arts tournament. Like, I'm not, because his grandfather's like, you have to participate. I'm not participating. I don't want to do it. This is stupid. And again, in true Paul W.S. Anderson fashion, if you listened to our podcast last week on Resident Evil, the next scene, after Liu Kang says, "This is ridiculous, I'm not participating in this tournament," literally we cut to Liu Kang announcing he will be entering the tournament to avenge his brother's death. He's done it again, where he's cut a scene.
Something's missing. What is that?
Something is missing. And if you don't analyze this film, you don't realize something's missing. But how can it doesn't? And I'm like, oh my God, Paul, you've done it again. You've cut another fucking scene. Let's just talk about that before I move on. So tell me what your thoughts are on that scene, and then I'll move on to we meet Raiden and all that shit.
No. I just want to say two things. Number one, I loved the shot of the temple when Paul lingered on the temple for a moment. When Paul lingered on the temple for a moment before Liu came into frame. But the most frustrating thing to me and the most awkward thing to me was when he was first talking to the monks and he said, I don't want to participate. Why? What is so special about this martial arts tournament? It's just in the martial arts tournament. And then we had that cut to where he said one thing one moment, but then within the next second he says, "Oh, I need to enter the tournament to avenge my brother's death." And I'm like, where did that come from?
Wait a minute.
Well, I was like, wait a minute. That motivation was set up in the first scene of the movie, but he just said no, and then he just said yes 2 seconds later.
Yeah.
Like, what happened there? Like, something was missing there.
Where's the scene?
And also, I do want to mention when I was watching this movie for this discussion, when I saw that happen, I was like, oh no, you fucking did it again. Why did you do that?
You fucking dick, you did it again. You cut and listen, he did it again in this movie. I'm going to bring it up, but he fucking did it again. And I'm like, you done it again. Fuck.
Yeah, I must have missed that one because I caught this one, but I missed the other one, so you're going to have to bring it up.
Oh, I'll fucking bring it up and we'll discuss it like we're discussing this fucking thing. Look, it's not an issue with the movie. It's just that when you analyze it, you pick up on this shit and you're like, oh my God, Paul, you've done it again. You fucking cut shit again.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in that same scene where I'm going to avenge my brother, we meet Raiden, and who tells Liu that he can't win the tournament through anger. And Liu just says, you're an old man, you don't know anything, because he's got white hair, he's got like a fucking hat on, a robe on. He goes, why should I listen to you? And then Raiden says, okay, well, just fight me to see if I'm an old man. And, it just like decks Liu. And Liu's like, all right, fine, you can fight. All right, yeah. And he kind of goes, all right. And then we see Raiden's eyes kind of change to lightning. And he's got some supernatural aspect to him. So we know he's got power. We don't really know what it is. And I find the character of Raiden interesting because I feel like he pops into the narrative of the story when they need him, and then he goes away when they don't need him. It's just like a plot device to help them along the way.
You know what he is?
What?
He is a walking exposition sign.
Yeah, he is. He's a walking exposition sign. But any thoughts on that?
Yes, but also I love the character of Raiden because as a kid and even now I find it to be so fucking cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But with what happens with something later in the film, it really upset me that Raiden was not able to be involved with the film as much as I thought he was going to be when I was a kid. And still, every time when I watch this movie, I'm like, dude, you could be giving them a little bit more help instead of just showing up at certain intervals and being an exposition machine.
Yeah.
But also, throughout the course of this movie, our characters have to learn to be a certain way in order for them to survive the tournament. And I do think that's why Raiden takes a step back, because he wants them to discover their own worth. And if he was there all the time, they wouldn't become the individuals that he needs for them to win the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Dumbledore to Harry Potter. Like he's there, but he can't be there all the time because Harry has to learn. It's kind of like similar.
Right.
So this scene's so funny. Johnny Cage arrives on the docks, and Liu Kang he gets out of his fucking limo, and Liu Kang walks past him, and Johnny goes, "Oh yeah, can you?" He tries to give him fucking like $5, $10, whatever it is. "Oh, can you carry my bags onto the boat?" Because he thinks he's just a fucking Chinese like worker, and I'm like, "Oh my god, isn't that such a fucking actor thing to do?" Fuck. And Lou is like, "Oh, you want me to? Yeah." Takes the money, goes, "Oh, I'll carry your bags," and then he just throws his bags in the water. One of them. I would be pissed, but Johnny's like, "Oh, okay. I'm glad I didn't tell him to park the car." And then Lou just walks off laughing because he's just earned fucking $10 and he's just thrown, Johnny's fucking bag. They don't know each other. That's why. So they end up boarding a really cool looking like ancient Chinese sailboat. It looks really because like a dragon at the front. It looks really, really cool. And Sonya is there, and Sonya knows Kano's there, so Sonya kind of sneaks onto the boat. She's still looking for him. She's still pissed.
Sonya runs on the fucking boat.
Oh, okay. Right. She runs
on the fucking boat.
Right. Shang Tsung is already there, but he's fucking hiding downstairs. He's hiding downstairs. So they go downstairs. All of them go downstairs, and it's just really cool set design. And Shang Tsung steps out of the fucking who knows how long he's been below deck? Who knows? But he steps out of the shadows.
Also, if I just could, just 1 second.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is it about villains standing in dark corners? Like, do they purposely stand there for someone to show up and go, I'm gonna do a dramatic entrance in 3, 2, 1 now. It's just so
I would love to see a comedy movie of the villain waiting for like 2 hours, like in the dark, just for the hero to just so he can step out of the shadows, because that's what it is.
It's just something, it's just a trope in movies that I love, but every time I see it, I keep thinking to myself, how long have they been waiting there for
I know. I think
show up?
I think that too. Yeah, I think that too. Like, how did he know they would come downstairs? He didn't, right?
Yeah. So that's a really good point.
And so now he's standing there doing his villain thing, and then a door opens, and Sub-Zero and Scorpion step out, and I'm like, well, how long have they been in there for? How long have they been in that little room for? They're just in there together playing cards? Like, what the fuck? What are they doing?
No, but also Shang Tsung mentions that these two people are mortal enemies, so why would two mortal enemies be in a room for an extended period of time?
Well, better the enemy maybe.
Well, that is true.
So anyway, they step out. Sonya points a gun at Sub-Zero, and Sub-Zero touches the tip of the gun, and it just freezes, and then he breaks it off. So it's a good way of showing kind of his like what he does, what Sub-Zero does, because you don't know kind of what they
his
do.
Power set.
Yeah, and then Scorpion holds his hand up, and then a snake-like creature comes out of it. Good way of like shortly explaining like how dangerous they are and what supernatural abilities they have. And then suddenly a burst of energy pushes them back, and then Raiden emerges. And Raiden and Shang Tsung, they don't like each other, but I love the way that Paul shoots this, because if you notice, Shang Tsung is standing in the shadows and Raiden's standing in the light. And I just like that. And they just have, like a typical hero villain, you're not going to get away with this fucking speech. But I loved it.
No, but it's a really, really great visual representation to show good and evil. Good standing in the light and evil standing in the darkness. It's a great visual cue to sort of set Raiden apart from Shang Tsung. But also as a kid, and now I love it when Sub-Zero and Scorpion show up, because every time those guys show up, I get a kick.
When they go above deck, Raiden explains what the fuck is going on. He's, like you said, he's an exposition machine. So
told you guys.
Yeah, so explains that Earth is but one realm of many, and they have been chosen to defend Earth in a tournament called Mortal Kombat. A conqueror of another world wants to invade Earth, but cannot until his demon sorcerer, Shang Tsung, and his warriors have won 10 straight victories in Mortal Kombat. And they have won 9, and this will be the 10th tournament. So basically what he's saying is that these 3, Sonya, Johnny, and Liu, have to win this round of Mortal Kombat. Otherwise, Earth is going to be fucked. So you have the stakes, you have the motivation, and you have the, oh, okay. So it's like they have, no matter what, they have to win. So that's what they're working with. That's what we're working with too. So that's that.
Yeah. Also, I just want to point out that as all this crazy, magical stuff is happening around them, the screenplay writer has them handle it very, very well. Johnny Cage, kind of throughout this whole thing on the boat, and once we get to the island, he's sort of the surrogate for the audience, going, "Guys, what the fuck is going on here?" So I really like how he had the characters handle it. He didn't have them freak out, but they did constantly ask questions until they decided to, fuck it, let's go with it. The fact that there's this guy Raiden who can just sort of teleport through walls, and there's this guy that can free stuff, and there's also this guy that has a thing come out of his hand. So I like how the screenplay writer had the characters question shit, but not have them freak out.
Yeah, no, I like that too. Because I'm like, oh, why wouldn't you freak out? But like, I don't know. Like Sonya's after the guy like Kano, and Kano's got like a weird shit thing over his eye. So maybe they know about it already. I don't know.
But Kano's thing kind of looks like a glass eye, but it looks more like a robotic thing.
Yeah, it looks like a robotic thing. So I don't know. I like that they didn't freak out. I thought that would have taken away like time from the movie. It's like, all right, this is what it is, and that's it. So anyway, they arrive. I love the. This is so funny. They arrive on the island in these little boats, and they all get out, and it's beautiful. They filmed it in Thailand. It's beautiful. And Johnny tries to get out of his boat, and he's carrying like 10 bags, and he tries to get out of the boat carrying, because nobody's helping him, because fuck him. And then he just literally falls face first into the water. It's just so funny how he does it. It's just so funny. Like, he's just like typical actor. Like, nobody else has got even a bag. Like, not even Sonya has a fucking bag, and she's a chick. And he's got like 10 bags, which I thought was funny. So after that, they arrive and they walk into it's like a cool looking dark temple, and there's fire torches and there's fucking gargoyles everywhere.
I like to point out as they're trying to walk up the stairs into this temple, you see Sonya, you see Liu, and you see Johnny walk up the stairs, and you see Johnny trying carrying up the luggage, and he fucking drops it. He fucking trips on the stairs, and he drops like half of his luggage, and by the time they get up there, he has no fucking luggage left. He dropped it all on the stairs.
Yeah. Exactly. So anyway, they're in the temple, and Liu Kang walks past like a stone statue of like a weird lizard creature, and then he spots a woman sitting under an umbrella, and this is Princess Kitana. And then Shang Tsung tells the stone statue to keep her away from the humans, and then it comes to life and then kind of goes invisible, and that will come back later. But I liked it because you kind of got an introduction to Princess Kitana, you got an introduction to the reptile thingy, and you got an introduction to, like, when they walked into the temple, that it wasn't like a regular tournament. It was dark. It was like walking into like the depths of hell or something.
Yeah, no, actually, I really, really loved the production design in the island and all the rooms that they go into, because all the rooms that they go into look like your worst nightmare compounded by 20. Just the production design, thank God, is so good in this movie. It's so great.
Now they're in the dining hall of death, and they're eating. Well, I don't know. Think of like Hogwarts dining hall, it's like from like hell or something. But it looks really cool.
Also, I really like the fact that Shang Tsung was kind enough to feed some of the people that they was going to like kill throughout the next couple of days. I thought that was really funny.
Well, yeah, he's not. It's not like he's throwing them in jail cells and starving them to death. I mean, it's just a tournament. I mean, he's so confident that he's going to win it, that he's going to win anyway. So, like, why not? Give him food. Shang Tsung addresses the room, and he tells them he wants to show them a taste of things to come. And then Sub-Zero comes out. And this is cool. I loved this when I was a kid. He faces off against some random martial artists. And this martial artist is like this big guy is doing all these kicks, his punches, and you're like, oh wow. It's kind of like a throwback to like that Indiana Jones thing where Indiana Jones is like there's this fighter and he's like got this sword and you're like, oh my god, how is Indy gonna win this? And then he just gets a gun out and just shoots the guy and just like turns around and walks off. It's kind of like that, but there's no guns. But
No.
so there's this martial artist guy, and then Sub-Zero starts to draw all the moisture from the air and turns it into like an energy ball of ice. And as this fighter runs to him and jump kicks him, Sub-Zero throws this ball of ice onto him. It freezes him, and he just like crumbles. Like he just like lands on the floor and crumbles in. Like his fucking head goes in one direction. You're just like, oh, oh, okay. So we know he froze Sonya's gun, but now we know what he can actually do. And it's like, very, very. It looked very, very cool though. It looked very, very fucking cool. So that was that scene.
Yeah, no. That scene was Sub-Zero saying, guys, in case you didn't know, I'm a fucking boss and I'll fucking kill you if you give me the chance. But you know, the thing I love about this scene is that they're all eating and all of a sudden Shang Tsung comes out and says, you know, like Dean said, I'll give you the chance at the tournament. And I love the fact that that these guards show up when they flip all the tables over. I'm like, guys, these people were just eating and you fucking throw the flip.
What a waste of food.
I find that so funny. I also love the random ninja guy because before he starts doing all his karate shit, I love what he does with his ribs. He cracks his ribs.
Oh yeah,
it's like
gross.
It's like it's so cool.
Yeah.
But also like Dean said, I love the fact that Sub-Zero takes all the moisture in the air and creates a big fire. It creates a big ice bomb and uses it to freeze the guy.
Yeah.
Also, I love the fact that again, nobody freaks out when this guy freezes to death and his head and his frozen head rolls.
Yeah.
And it like stops right in front of Shang Tsung or whatnot.
Yeah.
And nobody thinks that, oh, perhaps this isn't a good idea. Perhaps it was a little bit presumptuous of me to accept this invitation because I had no fucking idea what I was doing. Like, how come everybody thought, oh, this is a good idea. I really should be here right now.
Because they're all egotistical. They want to win the tournament. I don't think they really understand what it means to be there, but we don't know because we never actually like talk to anybody else. We don't know.
No, you know, that's a great point because, well, I'll talk about it when we get there, but I do think that one thing in this film didn't work because it wasn't built up at all. It was kind of just put in there, but the emotional responses didn't work for me because nothing was there to bolster that up, but we'll talk about that when we get there.
All right, so now Shang Tsung is after the demonstration, Shang Tsung is left, and then they decide, Sonya, Johnny, and Liu decide, they're going to go after him.
Why? How can they possibly think that this is a good idea?
I don't know. They don't fully understand.
Seriously.
I mean, Raiden comes along later and puts smackdown on them. They're like, no. He's like, no. But they don't get it because it's funny because Sonya, you know, you would think that I would really like Sonya. I don't like how she was written. She was written just too much. She didn't have any femininity to her. Like, take Lara Croft. She's tough, but she still retains her feminine energy about her. There was nothing feminine about Sonya. Every time she went somewhere, Johnny and Liu would come, I don't need your help. I don't need anybody's help. I don't need a man's help. I can do it all myself. Like, no, maybe you need help. I understand her whole arc was trusting and asking for help, but she was too much. I didn't like her as a character. In the remake of Mortal Kombat, she was a bit more fleshed out. She was a bit more likable, but I didn't like Sonya in this one. It was too much. And So anyway, they decide to go over Shang Tsung, and then they hear this roar, and they see this big shadow on the wall. And Johnny goes into Sonya. He leans in. He goes, "Okay, you see what that's about, and we'll wait here." Right? Because she's so gun ho, and she just looks at him, and she's like, "What?" Now, this is the scene. I feel like there was a scene cut because there was that scene where they hear a roar and they see this massive shadow on the wall, and then we see Kano, and he's sitting at a table stuffing his face, being a fucking dickhead. And across from him is sitting Goro. And Goro is just creepy to look at. He's got 4 arms. He's like 8 foot tall. He's massive. He's muscular. He's got this ponytail thing. Like, he creeped me out when he fucking still creeps me out. But then you see, so anyway, I'll go on and then I'll tell you about the scene that's missing. Goro is explaining to Shang Tsung, because Shang Tsung is there as well, that Shang Tsung is enslaves souls. Sorry, he's explaining to what's his name, Kano, that Shang Tsung enslaves souls. So there's more exposition. You're like, oh, okay. And then Shang Tsung comes out of the shadows because he's constantly fucking sitting in the shadows.
Seriously, does this guy like have no other place to sit except the shadow?
He's a shadow guy. What can you say? He's a shadow guy. So he comes out and he says, Princess Kitana is 10,000 years old and is heir to the throne, and she must not ally herself with the humans. So he's telling his lackeys, do not let her get anywhere near the humans. This is where I have an issue. Sonya, Johnny, and Lou are watching this. Okay, how did they get there? I understand that there was a scene before that where they saw Goro's shadow, but now suddenly they've found their hideout and they're watching them. I feel like there was a scene in between there that was cut. It doesn't make sense that they were just there watching them. We're supposed to see them go to that location. How did they get there? Did they encounter anyone? Was it far? Was it not? There was a scene cut. And I was like, Paul, fuck, man. Why are you cutting shit?
Yeah, you know what? It would be a really interesting conversation if we could talk to the editor of this film, and if we could talk to the editor of Resident Evil, the first Resident Evil, to figure out the logic behind these interesting decisions. Because Dina is right. One moment our main characters are in one place, but in another scene, by osmosis or by magic, our main characters show up somewhere else. And here's the thing, like Dean said, we should have seen our main characters find where Shang Tsung, where Goro, and where Kano are. But we didn't see that. We just saw our main characters pop up out of nowhere.
So anyway, they leave. They end up there. They're like, okay, we better go now. Shang Tsung hears them. And then it's just the weirdest. It's the weirdest scene because they get up, they leave. Johnny thinks he sees Princess Kitana. They walk through this tunnel system and then they just circle back to the room that they were in. It's weird. It's just really fucking weird. Now they're where Kano was sitting at the table, but Kano's obviously like not there. Nobody's there. And then they're confronted with fighters. And then the Mortal Kombat theme song starts to play, and there's just a fight scene. They fight them, and then that's it. I just thought that it was weird that they just went through all these tunnel systems and they just circled back to be in the room that they were already in. I don't know. It seemed a bit weird.
That is so funny. As I was sitting here listening to you explain the scene, I was like, "Oh my god, you're totally right." They went in circles for no reason at all.
There wasn't even like a fight scene in between. They just fucking walked in a circle.
That is such a good point. There's so many interesting, weird decisions being made in this movie from an editorial standpoint that I would love to ask somebody about, or somebody involved with the production about.
Yeah, it's just really fucking weird. And I never noticed that before. I'm like, oh, this is what happens, folks, when you analyze movies. You pick up on shit that you wouldn't have. I've seen this movie so many times, never even noticed.
See, this is a problem doing the show that we do, because every movie that we watch, we pay close attention to, and we find shit that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, exactly. And now we're making your life miserable because now you're going to notice it. The people listening.
And here, and here's the thing. Here's the thing. Yes, you can thank us later. Like, when somebody tells you where there's things in your favorite movies, when you watch those movies again, you'll never be able to unsee them because you've heard us tell you about them.
Yeah. So you can fucking thank us later. So Raiden comes back like a little fucking bluebird. He comes back when he's needed, and it's another exposition dump. And he's telling them that Shang Tsung's power comes from the legions of souls he has captured, and to fight him is to fight them all. And it's like, oh, okay, that's cool. I mean, look, it's what we needed, but could we have gotten it another way? Probably. Probably.
But it would have been cool if we would have learned that by seeing it instead of Raiden sort of just spoon feeding it to us in that exposition dump.
I know. But
But
moving
it's
on.
okay, I guess.
Yeah, it's fine. So we're at tournament. We're finally at the tournament, and it's day 1. And we're on the sand, and Liu Kang, and I got to tell you something about this fight. Liu Kang is fighting this guy, and he's very tall. He's this big black guy. He's got these like kind of like, I don't know, like dreadlocks. And this
No, the dreadlocks.
This guy that he's fighting was and still is the scariest thing about this fucking movie for me. This fighter,
What?
this fighter
What?
scared the shit out of me when I was Goro didn't, Scorpion, so nothing.
Why?
This fight, I don't know. This guy, I looked him up. This guy's like he's a martial artist champion. He's a stunt man, like he works on lots of movies, but his eyes freak me the fuck out, and his long hair and the shots that he does this thing where he kind of lunges forward, but Paul shoots it in slow motion, so his hair. I don't know. He just freaks me the shit out. His eyes are freaky, and even watching it like the other day, I was like, oh man, he just freaks me out. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
He's the scariest thing about the movie. So anyway,
Wow.
Liu Kang wins. Spoiler alert, he fucking wins against this guy, thank God. And then Shang Tsung approaches the loser and he says, your soul is mine. And then he takes his soul out of his body and he sucks it into him. And you're like, oh, this guy's like not even joking around. But the funny thing is, there's so many people watching. Everybody's cool with it. Everybody's, yeah, I know he does that. I've seen him do that too. Like, nobody says anything. This guy is sucking people's souls, and people around watching like, yeah, he does it. Whatever.
What?
Okay, cool.
No, but seriously, look, I had a couple issues with this first fight scene in the actual tournament. I did not like the way that Paul shot this. I thought that he could have used a couple more wide angles. He could have gone a little bit wide. He could have gone a lot wider with it, because I thought that he was a little bit too close. But I do understand why he was so close, because he probably wanted to hide bad stunt work, I guess.
No. Can I tell you why he used all the close angles?
Okay, go ahead.
Because there's a reason. He initially shot it wide. He was shooting all the fight scenes wide. The actors, because they're real, like Robert, like the guy that plays Liu Kang, Robin Shao, he's a real martial artist champion, right? So he didn't have a stunt double. The other guy was a martial artist, he didn't have a stunt double. So it's not, most people did not have stunt doubles in this movie. So it wasn't that. He was shooting everything wide, and the actors were getting really, really exhausted. And it was Robin, the guy that plays Liu Kang, that went up to Paul, because Paul had never shot martial artist action movie before. He was still relatively new. And he went up to Paul and he goes, you have to, when you're shooting action scenes, you have to shoot wide, yes, but you have to shoot a lot of close-ups, because if you shoot consistently wide, the actors are going to get like just exhausted and you're not going to get what you need. So you need to go in closer. And Paul was like, oh, okay. So that's why you'll notice a lot of the fight scenes are close up. That's why.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. I did not know that. I had no idea. Okay, so I withdraw my first complaint.
Yes, because the guy Robin Shao that plays Liu Kang, he has actually done. He'd done over like 50 action movies in China before he did Mortal Kombat. So he knows. He knows.
He knows the shit. Yeah.
He knows how to film.
Yeah. No, but the other thing that I really love about this scene, if I could go from negative to positive for a minute, I love when we first see Shang Tsung's power.
Mm.
And I love when he says, "Your soul is mine."
Mm.
You know, and Paul does a close up of his hand, and you see his soul dripping into his hand. I was like, that is so fucking cool. But as a fan of the game, I love it when he says fatality. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
oh my god, I love it so much. But Dean comes up with a great point. Why is nobody else freaking the fuck out?
Nobody cares. Totally normal. I don't know.
Yeah.
So the next fight is Sonya versus Kano. I love this fight. It's my third favorite fight, and I'll show you what my first two. It's my third favorite fight.
Okay.
I love it. I don't know why. I love it because she basically just kicks his ass, and he's just like twice the size of her.
Yeah,
he's massive.
But also, I really, really like how, during the fight, she does kick the shit out of him. But I really like how, in certain instances, she gets thrown around like a rag doll. In one instance, she gets her ribs like impacted because Kano kicks her right in her breadbasket, and she's like, ugh.
Yeah.
But I also really love how she uses her feet, and how everything that she does has a sense of power to it, and the sense of being fucking pissed off. She should be pissed off.
Yeah, and she kills him in a leg lock, which I think is pretty fun.
Yeah, it's really great. Yeah.
So the next fight scene is my favorite fight scene. It's Johnny versus Scorpion. And we start off in the forest, and Johnny is walking alone, and then we see Scorpion, and Scorpion has the thing that comes out of his fucking hand, and he tries to get Johnny, and blah, blah, blah. All this shit happens. And then Scorpion opens up a portal, and you go into Scorpion's dimension, basically. It's where Scorpion lives. It's where Scorpion's from. And let me tell you a little bit about that scene. That's not in my trivia. So, in the original screenings of Mortal Kombat, it was just the forest scene. They didn't have the dimension scene, and people said there needs to be more fighting. So what they did is the fight scene where Scorpion pulls Johnny into the alternate dimension, that was a reshoot because people thought that fight should have gone on for a little bit longer. And I'm glad that it did because that's pretty much most people's favorite fight scene. So yay!
Wow. Well, that's really interesting. So you're saying that in the first like screenings of the film, everything that happened between Johnny and Scorpion happened in the forest?
Yeah, there was no other part.
Oh shit! Well, I can't imagine this movie without that scene of Johnny going through the portal and kicking Scorpion's ass in his own dimension. I thought that was fucking awesome.
I know,
but also I like the scene because Scorpion does the famous thing with his hand, but he also does the as I get ready for it, get over here. Yeah. Like guys, as a fan of the game, was like, get over here. I was like, yeah, motherfucker. Guys, if you played the game, this movie is 100 times more impactful than I could tell you. But also I really love the fact that they go into Scorpion's realm because you see all the dead bodies of his victims, and you see like different trophies that they have, and the fact that Johnny uses some of those trophies to defeat Scorpion later is awesome. And I also love that when Scorpion gets vanquished by Johnny Cage, I love the fact, this is so corny, but I love the fact that a autographed picture of Johnny like comes in the frame, and then it's signed.
Yeah.
And it says to my biggest fan, and then has a name.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that.
Yeah. The next fight is just pointless. So we go back to Liu, and it's Liu versus Kitana.
Oh, that's stupid.
It's
you know what that is? That is so dumb. You know what that scene is? That scene is exposition.
That's 100%
exposition. Yeah. It's exposition that they could have given to Raiden. They didn't have to give it to Katana for
I
what?
know. Look, I'll explain the scene. It's so stupid. So Liu versus Kitana. There's like two scenes where Shang Tsung was like, keep Kitana away from the humans, and now he's like sitting there watching them fight. It makes no sense. Like,
Why
why
would
is
he
she
do that?
fighting? She's the princess. Why is she in the tournament? She literally fights nobody else. Why is she there? And
No, but no, hold up. Here's the other thing that doesn't make sense.
yeah,
She's the adopted daughter of the fucking emperor. So why the fuck would he want his adoptive
I
daughter?
don't know.
Because his adopted daughter gave him the right to the realm in the first place. So if she dies, he's fucked.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. So anyway, she tells him to win the next match, use the element that brings life, which is like a fucking exposition. And then Shang Tsung stops the fight, and that's it. He doesn't like, he stops it. Like, nobody kills anybody. He just stops it. And I'm like, but so they weren't really fighting? Like, that wasn't around? Like, what was it? Was so, I don't know. I felt like it was just added to give information, and I guess to show that Katana can fight, but I don't know. It was just
For what?
pointless to me. Yeah, there's no point.
No, but why do that? Because Katana, she doesn't do anything in this movie.
She doesn't even have a
What
fight
is
scene.
what does she do? I mean,
Nothing.
look,
She does nothing.
she's there, but she doesn't need to be there because, like Dean said, she's fucking useless.
She's furniture. That's what she is.
She's pretty furniture.
She's pretty furniture that talks. But that's it.
Right?
I think they just wanted to put her in because she's part of the game.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I assume she's part of the game. I have no fucking clue. So
If memory serves, I believe she is. I believe.
yeah, well, that's probably what. So the next fight is Liu versus Sub-Zero, which Sub-Zero is my favorite. He's always been my favorite. I just love how he uses the element of water.
He's cool.
He's cool, but before the fight begins, you see Raiden in like this like hooded robe, and he leaves 2 buckets of water on the floor.
It's so stupid,
and it's like, oh,
it's so
really?
stupid.
Like,
no, but here's
there could have been other ways to do that.
No, but here's the thing. If you would have had Raiden give the exposition that Katana just gave, Raiden showing up putting the water on the floor would have made more sense.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But look, the fight between Liu and Sub-Zero is boring. I mean, it's like literally 2 seconds. Liu,
whatever.
Beats Sub-Zero by using his own element against him, and that's it. It's not great, which is
Also
interesting because Sub-Zero is one of the main characters. So you had this like Scorpion versus Johnny fight that was like fucking 10 minutes long, and then you have Sub-Zero versus Liu, which is like 2 minutes.
Also, you have the Katana, you have the princess bullshit.
Yeah,
in the middle there. But also, I feel that the writer and Paul could have used this time to give us some much needed time with our 2 main characters, with our principal cast of heroes, because we're with them for the various point. We're with them for all throughout this movie, but I never really feel that these people like each other. I mean, I know that they do, but we never see a really bonding moment between the 3 of them.
You're right. We don't. There's none.
We know that they like each other, but we never see that come to fruition by giving us a small moment where they talk to each other and they get to know each other a little bit.
Yeah, you're right. We don't get that at all.
And also, there's this whole romantic thing with Johnny and Sonya that I don't really buy because it wasn't built properly.
It was, but they took it out. So that's why it feels a bit off center.
Okay, so you'll have to help me with that to figure out what the fuck they took out.
I don't know what they took out, but that was supposed to be a romantic thing, and then they took it out. So maybe that's why it's disjointed.
Okay, so but they meant to go in that direction, but they took that shit out.
Yes, to keep it more fight central.
Why? Damn it!
I don't know.
No, but it would have. Listen, I mean, look. I don't want to talk about where we're going, but if they would have kept that stuff in where we're going, it would have added a little bit more weight to where we're going.
I know. I agree.
Right.
I know. So now there's a short fight showing Goro and how he fights. He fights this like fighter, and he just looks unbeatable. Like I said, he's 8 foot tall. He's got fucking forearms. And he just like decimates this fighter. And it's to, oh god, all these problems coming up about this film. It shows us, the audience, that like how the fuck are you supposed to beat a guy that's like 8 foot tall, has got 4 arms? Like, how are you supposed to beat him? Like, there's and Johnny says like, fuck, like, how's anybody supposed to beat him? And Raiden says he can be beaten, but first you must face your own fears, because Shang Tsung can see your fears and use them against you. Which he kind of did, sort of.
How?
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe sort of he did.
But how? But how? It's like, okay. But Raiden, look, I admittedly, I've said throughout this podcast, I love Raiden, but seriously, guy, that was some fortune cookie bullshit. Because I'm like, how does that fucking help?
It doesn't. It doesn't. It does not help at all. So anyway, that's that fucking scene. And the next round is Goro versus Johnny, because Johnny's like, I can beat him. I don't know how he thinks he can beat him, but he's like, I can beat him.
No. Well, can we just back up just a
Yeah.
smidge? This really pissed me off because the guy that Goro basically kills and makes a fucking snodge out of is a person of color. And we meet this person of color
A person
at
of
the beginning of the movie.
You mean a black guy?
Black guy, whatever, black guy.
Yeah.
We meet this black guy early on in the film on the boat, right?
Yeah, he's a nobody.
And while he's having to fight with Goro, Johnny and Sonya and everybody's rooting him on. But obviously, when he dies, I thought our main character's reactions were like misplaced, because number one, we haven't spent any time with these people outside of the tournament, and we've only seen this guy
once,
one other time.
Yeah.
So their reaction doesn't work because we haven't seen their camaraderie with this guy. If we would have seen something,
I know,
maybe we could have felt something for this character, but this character had nothing, and and our character's reactions didn't make sense because we didn't see any of their friendship develop.
Yeah.
So it didn't work at all.
No, I know, at all.
Yeah,
I know.
It's like their reactions made no sense.
Yeah. So now it's Goro versus Johnny, because Johnny thinks, I know how to beat him. I don't know. He just said he's unbeatable, and he's like, oh, I know how to beat him. Oh, okay, cool. The fight is just so lackluster. Johnny wins in like literally 2 seconds. It's just, it's not a fight. I don't know what you've just had a scene where you've shown Goro and how he fights and how he's unbeatable, and then Johnny versus Goro, and there's no fight. There's no fight. Johnny punches him in the balls, right? I'm like, okay, fine. And then Goro slips off a cliff, and then that's it. That's literally the fight. There was no fight.
Yeah.
It was just such a fucking letdown.
See, but here's the thing. Again, I will say it again. You could have used all these little moments where you had these mini fights that really didn't mean shit to build up our characters, and then do the Goro thing if you wanted to, and then push us to the conclusion.
It's just a waste of Goro.
But here's the thing. But you could have used that time to build up our big three and to make us really feel that these people have a connection.
Yeah, I know.
But you didn't.
No. So the next scene's pretty funny. It's Shang Tsung, and he's fucking pissed. He's in that he's in the Sheriff of Nottingham mode where he's like psycho pissed, where he just does stupid shit. Where he's like, oh, okay, well, I'm kidnapping Sonya, and I'm gonna fight her, and it's like, what? Where did that come from? Where did that come from? Nowhere. And then Lou and Johnny are acting like big brothers, and I'm like, you don't even like this chick. There were, like you said, there was no bonding scenes. Like, why would they go after her? And they're like, no, you can't take her. And I'm like, oh, that's an overreaction. Shang Tsung fucking pulls her into some portal, and they're like, we have to get her back. And I'm like, you don't even like her. She tells you to fuck off all the time. Why would you follow her?
No, but here's the other thing. There's one scene with Johnny and Sonya on the beach, but that's it. One fucking scene, and even in that,
it's not
they're contentious. but even in that scene, they're sort of standoffish with each other.
Yeah.
So there's no real indication that they really care about each other that
No.
much.
No, it's not.
So it just doesn't work, like Dean said.
No. So Lou and Johnny enter the portal and they go into the Emperor's realm, which, you know, it's dark, it's creepy, it's typical, you know, villain realm. It's cool looking. And now it's time for my second favorite fight, Reptile versus Liu Kang. This is actually a great fight because this is another fight that was added on reshoots because like I said, the audience was like, we need more fights. So this is a fight that was a reshoot, and the actor that plays Liu Kang, he actually choreographed this martial artist fight, which I thought was very fucking cool. And it's my second favorite fight in the movie. I loved it. I loved everything about it. It was the fight that should have been every single other fight. It was long. It was interesting. Liu Kang was getting his ass kicked, and then Liu Kang was kicking Reptile's ass. Like, that's how a fight should go. And and the song is my favorite song on the soundtrack. Yeah. And I mean, everything it was a better fight than Sub-Zero, which was interesting because most people probably don't even know who Reptile, the character, is. But it was a great fight.
I do.
Well, yeah, I didn't.
Yeah.
But Sub-Zero would be more popular.
Yeah, of course. But I completely agree with Dean. Like, this fight between Reptile and Liu Kang was just great, and the way that Liu Kang was on the ropes for a large part of it, but the way that he got control of the situation, and the way that he sort of the way that he sort of used like this jump and then with multiple kicks, I thought was very, very video gamey, and I really enjoyed it. And also, I really like how the fight ended when Scorpion was defeated. He tried to come out of the little the statue thing that he was in, and then I love how Lou stepped on him. I was like, that is badass. That is badass right there.
So the next fight is Liu Kang versus Shang Tsung. And look, I love the way that Paul directs this because it's tight.
Can I just put this in that I found really stupid and unnecessary because of reasons that we talked about?
Yeah.
When Lou goes up there and Sonya's like tied up, right, in a real damsel in distress kind of bullshit thing.
Oh, yeah.
Shang Tsung goes, you know, fight me or your world is gone. My friends will come. And then it pans over to her friends. We see Lou, Johnny, and the princess. And I'm like, your friends? You don't even fucking like these people.
I know.
Listen, I don't want to get it twisted. And I'm sure Dean doesn't want to get it twisted. We're having all these issues, but we still love this.
We love it. We love it. I love it so much.
Yeah, we're just having little lingering issues as we're going through this.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so after that, Liu Kang versus Shang Tsung. And like I said, I like the way that Paul directs it because I just think it looks beautiful because he circles around them. They're not using stunt doubles, right? Because, look, like I said before, directors these days are lazy. And they use really quick editing and tight shots, and you can't even see anything. You just see arms flying, legs flying, you don't see anything. But the way that Paul directs this, you can see every single block, every single attack movement. You can see everything, and you can see it's the actors doing it. And that's what directors these days don't have. They just go, oh, we'll just edit it to make it look good. And it's like, no, but it actually makes it look a lot more shit when you do it like that. So anyway, I know you didn't like it, but I liked it because you could see everything.
Yeah, I know. Well, here's the thing. Directors that have no confidence in their stunt teams or have no confidence in their directors, in their directing skills, do the quick edit, close-up bullshit things. But with this, the John Wick folks don't do that because the John Wick folks know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah.
Because everything that they do is wide and in picture.
Yeah.
Fights. Yeah. Crazy. Anyway, unlike my complaints of how Paul shot the scenes before, I love this scene in particular because, like Dean said, everything is framed properly and you can see every block, every move. You can see it. And I really, really appreciated that. as opposed to the way that he shot the earlier
Yeah.
fights in the film. Also, can I just point out that I don't like how the princess keeps saying, face your fear.
Oh,
Good God, why are you
oh my
saying
God, Princess
that?
Katana, you need to piss off. Honestly, fuck off. Honestly, you serve no
But
purpose.
but also, I just want to know: was I the only person thinking, "Why are you fucking here right
Like,
now?"
yeah, why are you there? Yes. No, I thought that too. Why are you there?
Yeah,
I don't know. To give the hero more confidence, to remind him what he
I,
needs to do. I don't know.
I guess also, like there was this thing, like there was they indicated that there might be a romantic relationship with this princess, and I'm like,
Oh, they took that
okay,
out
but
too.
again, oh God, why did they? Oh,
Because they wanted to make it more Mortal Kombat-y and less. They didn't want it to have the love shit
yeah,
in
but
there.
also no, but listen, I understand wanting to make a Mortal Kombat movie more Mortal Kombat but you have to give us some emotional base to make us care about these people,
I know.
and they gave us none of
Yeah,
that.
I know. So they're fighting. Liu Kang and Shang Tsung are fighting. It's a great fight. And then
It's a kick-ass fight, yeah.
it is. And then Shang Tsung is kind of losing. And then what he does, and I find this so funny because Raiden has just said that Shang Tsung has captured thousands of souls. And when you fight him, you have to fight them. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. So Shang Tsung summons the souls that he's captured, but he summons like 5. And Liu Kang beats them, and then that's it. And I'm like, oh, shouldn't he be like conjuring like a lot? He just summoned
Yeah.
5. And Liu Kang just like decimates them. And I'm like, oh, that's all you got? Really? Really? Okay, cool.
No,
So-
but the funniest thing is that while this is going on, Shang Tsung decides to go on higher ground and say all of a sudden, your soul is, and I'm like, dude, you just pussied out. What are you doing up there? Like,
Yeah.
what is the purpose of you walking up there, walking up to high ground and saying your soul is like, dude, he's gonna kick the fucking ever loving shit out of you.
Yeah, because people like to tower over other people, so we want it to be like on higher ground, like I've got you now. You're under me. You're beneath me. I've got you now. I think it was more of like a show.
Right.
So anyway, he goes up there, and Lou goes up, and then the level that they were on, there's like spikes that come out, like convenient, right? So one of them's going on the spikes, and I find this interesting. Right in front of Lou, right in front of him, Lou is literally looking at Shang Tsung, and Shang Tsung transforms into Lou's dead brother. And Liu Kang is like, wait, you're not my brother. And I'm like, you literally just saw Shang Tsung turn into your brother. No shit, it's not your brother. You literally, it's different if he turned around and then turned back and he's like, wait a minute, where did Shang Tsung go? Like, you literally saw him do it.
But here's another thing. When Liu came up to that second level, Shang Tsung had his back turned to him.
Yeah, but
you remember?
Yeah, but it was still, you could still tell it was him.
It was.
He was looking straight at him. Even though he was looking at his back, it was still him. So I find that funny. And then I understand why they did that, but I'm like, Lou, you're not, come the fuck on. That's not your brother. And he's like, oh no, it's not, no, it can't be you. And I'm like, yeah, because that's not. It's fucking not. So anyway, his brother tries to say, come with me, Lou, come with me, and all this shit. And then, Liu Kang has this realization like he couldn't have saved you and you fucking walk your own path. And then, it turns back into Shang Tsung. No shit. And then they fight, and then Liu just gets this second wind about him, and then does a move from the game where like the double fist thing, and he pushes him in the chest, and Shang Tsung falls onto the spikes and dies. But as he dies, all the souls that he has captured are freed, including his brother's soul. And there's a really, really nice scene, a bonding scene, which we've wanted through the whole fucking movie. There's a bonding scene between him and his brother, and it's really, really nice before his brother's soul goes up to wherever the fuck the soul goes. So yeah, it was nice. It was nice.
Yeah, look. This final fight scene was amazing, but there was things about it that just didn't make sense. Dean touched on a lot of them. the whole Shang Tsung's behavior of him summoning 5 souls and then going up to the second level to say your soul is mine, I found quite doofy and stupid.
This whole movie is
Also-
ridiculous, but it's fantastic.
Yeah. Also, the fact that he thought it was a good idea to transform into his younger brother to try and confuse him was stupid because, like Dean said, he was standing directly in front of him.
I know. If he had like run around a corner or something and then emerged as the brother, okay, maybe I could buy it.
Yeah. Also, I did appreciate them doing the final thing that made Shang Tsung fall down into the pit with the spikes. The move from the game, the double punch, but also I liked that they had the electricity from the game.
Yep.
And I did like that they made the floor the Mortal Kombat logo.
Yes.
I was like, that's fucking that is awesome.
Because that's the logo of the tournament.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
Awesome. And also, spoiler, it's a logo of the game, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Awesomeness. Duh. Yeah. But look. Watching this movie today, like, made me hate my job. But with that being said, I had fun doing it.
Yeah.
And I had fun watching the movie because I haven't watched it in like 2 or 3 years, so it was just really fun to go back to it. And,
oh yeah, it was so much fun.
Get those memory berries, get that nostalgia.
Yeah.
And remember that was not when I was a kid. I had to sneak and watch this movie because my parents didn't unfortunately allow me to watch this movie because they thought that it was a little bit too violent for me, which was kind of funny because when I was a little kid, one of the first movies that I saw that traumatized the shit out of me was called Jaws, where I saw a bunch of people getting eaten alive by a shark.
Yeah.
But for some reason, my parents drew the line up, seeing, Mortal Kombat for some reason until I played the game years later and I said, fuck them, this movie's awesome.
Yeah. So the final scene of the movie, because we're not done yet, actually has one of my favorite songs that was also used in Hackers. I don't know if it's on the soundtrack, but it's called Halcyon and On by Orbital, and it's a 10-minute song. And there's no lyrics, it's just music, and it's one of my favorite songs. And everyone's happy, and, Earth has been saved, yay, and they're all, like, celebrating, and they're with all the monks, and it's like, yay, and Raiden is there, and they're all hugging, and we're like, yay. But they forgot that, like, just because they won the tournament doesn't mean the evil emperor is, like, gone. And then he kind of erupts from one of the temples. He's like this big, I don't know, ghost being. Demon. Demon. He's like this demon, yep. And he creates a storm, and then he says he wants their souls. And then Raiden says, I don't think so. And they all do like the fighting pose, and then the Mortal Kombat music starts playing, and then that's the end. And I loved it. I thought it was so cool when I was a kid. I'm like, that's so cool.
No, even look, I loved it when I was a kid, but as an adult, I'm like, this is so stupid. Why don't you just leave the movie with them being in victory? And if you want to introduce the Emperor, do that in 2. Like,
no, I loved it. I loved it because not over yet. Loved it. I don't care what you say. Right. I loved it.
All right. Okay. Listen, Dean, sweetheart. I don't want to suck your joy. So I'll just leave it there.
Just leave it there.
But yes, I'll leave it there. But would you like to move on to your trivia now?
Yes. So the sequel to this movie, which is a bunch of horseshit trash.
So bad.
So they actually asked Paul to come back and do the sequel, but he ended up doing one of my other favorite sci-fi movies ever, Event Horizon. And if you haven't seen
Event... shit, wait a minute.
Yeah.
But shit, you're right. That's another Paul movie. No wonder why I like that movie so much.
Yeah. If it's one of the best sci-fi movies ever. One of the best sci-fi movies ever.
I forgot that.
Yeah.
Jesus, how did I forget that?
So he decided to do Event Horizon instead of the sequel. So obviously they got a new, I don't know if they used the same writer, but they got a different director. And when he saw the movie, he just went, what the fuck? Which is what we all did. What the fuck?
Yeah, because it was awful.
It was awful. And that's why when he wrote and directed Resident Evil, that is why he wrote and directed every single sequel of Resident Evil, because he'd learned his lesson.
No way.
That's why.
No
because
way.
He
Really?
says if you start source material, you have to stick with it and you have to finish it. That's why he did it. That's why he didn't give anybody the reins of Resident Evil. He did it because he thought if he had done the sequel to Mortal Kombat, it would have been completely different.
I have so much more respect for him now, and I really like that. I really like that method, because a lot of creative individuals, they create something and then they fucking leave it for some apparent reason. And
I know you hate
that. That look, I have the biggest love and hate relationship with my favorite creator of all time. But my biggest knock on this guy is that he creates amazing things and then he just fucks off.
Yeah.
So I really respect Paul, and I really like Paul, because say what you want about the Resident Evil, about the Resident Evil franchise, but that man was 100% committed to what he was doing.
Yeah.
In all of the films that he did.
Yeah. No, he was. So the actor that plays Scorpion was actually hired as a random stunt person on the set, but they were so impressed with him that they gave him the part of Scorpion.
Huh.
Funny, huh?
That's funny.
Bridget Wilson, who plays Sonya, did all her own stunts, refused a body double, including her fight scenes. She dislocated her shoulder in, I think it was the fight scene between Kano. She dislocated her shoulder, but she refused a double, did everything herself, which is respectable. Because usually celebrities are like, oh, I want a stunt double because they're pussies. But she didn't. So I didn't like her character, but I like her as an actor because that's what she did, and that garners respect from me.
I actually really, really respect that she didn't, that she was not like a whiny actor. She just stuck with it and she gave it her best shot.
Yeah. So the guy that plays Liu Kang, Robin Shao, he's actually a stuntman. And he's like a fucking double, triple black belt he's a martial artist, and he was originally a stuntman in China before he went to America. So I like him a lot. The two actresses, Sharon Stone and Christina Applegate, were considered for Sonya. What do you reckon?
Oh, well, Sharon Stone?
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I can't really see it yet, but I'll go with you. Applegate? No.
Yeah, maybe when she was young, though. Like maybe, like when she was doing "Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead," I reckon she could have done it.
Okay, but here's the thing: I love the actress that they got, though.
No, I do too. But like other potential actresses, like, could have done the job as well. So Goro was actually an animatronic. Now they just make him CG, but I think the animatronic works because it looks.
It does.
It looks real, but it was operated. It looks terrifying. But he was operated by 16 people.
Oh my god!
And it created a lot of shit. All the actors went to Thailand to film the movie, but they couldn't bring the animatronic Goro because they couldn't ship him because they were scared he was going to break. So all of Goro's scenes are filmed where they made him, which is on an LA film set. They were so scared to ship him that he was going to break. They're like, nope, let's just film these scenes here. But he caused a lot of shit.
Wow. Okay.
But he looks really good.
Yeah, he looks really cool.
He looks really, really cool.
Yeah.
The guy that voices Goro is actually one of the creators of Mortal Kombat.
No way.
So I thought that was pretty cool.
Wow. That is so cool, and that's a really, really nice Easter egg for the fans.
Yeah. And my last piece of trivia is Jean-Claude Van Damme turned down the role of Johnny Cage to do Street Fighter.
Ooh.
I don't know if that was a good choice.
That was a bad decision.
That was a bad decision.
I mean, Street Fighter that's another film from my childhood. I I'm not ashamed to say, when I was a kid, I kind of liked it, but as an adult, I realized that
No.
that was ill advised.
Yeah, I never, even as a kid, like, because I was a Street Fighter chick, I was so excited. I saw the movie. Even as a child, I was like, this is shit.
Yeah.
So rubbish.
No, but but for me, it took a little while longer to
Get
realize
there.
that this shit is not.
It's shit.
It's not the game.
Yeah, no. That's it. That's all I got.
Yeah. With that, we will wrap up this edition of the Mixtape Podcast. Listen, guys, if you have any question, comments, requests for us, anything at all, you can email us at themixtapepod at AOL.com. The film that we will be talking about next week is the 1992 film Sister Act. For my fellow co-host, Dean Stark, I shall simply say, if someone is ever kind enough to make you a mixtape, that must truly mean that they love you.
The Mixtape Podcast is a Balloonhead Productions presentation.